to play this game means two things. One, you've got to find a time to do it. When do you do it? Week 19, which is the first weekend of the wild card weekend. Yesterday, Mike Florio came on and said, how about you put that in with just the NFC plays its wild card games in the wild card week, along with the Bills and the Bengals, and you give a bye week to the entirety of the AFC playoff field, with the exception of these two teams that are in it. Then you now have your seeding. The following week is when you play the AFC playoffs, and the NFC winners of that wild card game are off that week. Then everybody plays their wild card games in the AFC the week when there was supposed to be an entire divisional playoff. Then the next week, when there was championship weekend, that's your divisional playoff weekend. Everybody's now all up to speed on the same week. The following week, when there was a bye week for the Pro Bowl games, the reimagined Pro Bowl games, that's when Championship Sunday would occur. And then the following week is the Super Bowl as scheduled, just no bye week in between. The problem with that is that whoever is the one seed in the NFC would have 3 weeks of football off. I'm going to talk about the concept of rusty or rested. I mean, but nothing's perfect. And then there's the other concept of what Mark Schlereth placed in front of us in hour number one, which is, I don't want to play the game. Well, the Bills want to, you want to send the Bills and the Bengals onto the field where that trauma just took place? Really? You want to put everybody back there? Or you want to hit the Wayback Machine? As Schefter put it, the league is kind of thinking that game has, what did he say, bad mojo was the phrase that he used on the ESPN?
Bad mojo.
And it's just like, okay, that happened. We are done revisiting it. If the Bills and the Bengals play each other then in the playoffs, then so be it.
Right.
And if it happens to be in Cincinnati, then so be it. But we're not going to replay the game after everything's over. Like, that is done, and that is finished, and the page is turned on that. The issue is then, well, how do you handle the seeding? Because we had a conversation yesterday, like, if you say it's a tie, right? Mm-hmm. If you say it's a tie, then you look at, if you wouldn't mind putting the AFC standings up as it currently is right now, then the Bills would be 12-3-1 behind the Chiefs, who they've beaten. And then the Bengals would be 11-4-1 and unable to catch the Chiefs, who, if they beat the Raiders, they're 14-3. The best the Bengals can be is 12-4-1. And the Bengals have got a tiebreak in their back pocket they'd love to put on the table against the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. And a tie will not allow them to do it. Now, if you go ahead and say winning percentage, well, then the Chiefs would have the best winning percentage because they would have the most wins. You know, I'm not a mathematician, but you can do that in your head pretty much right now.
True. That
if you're talking about winning percentage, you have more wins based on the number of total games that you've played. Obviously, the Bengals and Bills would have a fewer game played, but fewer wins. So the Chiefs would essentially, if you will, and I choose my words carefully here, I'm not saying this to be insensitive, they would be handed a 1 seed when one of the teams involved beat them. Well, actually, both teams involved have beaten them.
Right.
Bills and the Bengals. And the Chiefs, hey, you get the 1 seed. So Hasselbeck suggested you have to give the Chiefs the choice. It's not home field advantage and a bye week. You get one or the other, and whoever finishes second, okay,
they get what's left.
They get what's left. Now, the issue with that is that the Bills might be in that second position because they're still a game better than the Bengals. And the Bengals were up 7-3. Like, nothing's going to come about out of this as, quote-unquote, fair for everyone. But whoever wins the conference based on winning percentage has a choice between taking the bye or taking the home field advantage. And then if there is a game played between two teams that have not had the same number of regular season games played in the championship game, that game gets put into a neutral site. And clearly that would mean any AFC championship game that isn't Bills-Bengals would be a neutral site. So if knowing that, I would take the bye. I'd take the week off. I'd take the week off to get healthier, and I would put my team directly into the second round of the playoffs. Why wouldn't you? I'll take the second round of the playoffs. Certainly
absolutely.
Certainly if, there's no home field advantage for the championship game, because more likely than not, it's a neutral site. So
Right.
I don't think I'm costing myself a home game in the divisional round. I'm clearly going to get a home game in the divisional round. So I'll take a home game in the divisional round and then roll the dice on, where everything turns out. But yeah, I'm going to be, if I'm the Chiefs, I'll take the home field advantage. And I know if I take on the Bills or the Bengals, that game's in a neutral site. And if I'm taking on a team that's, say, the Jaguars or the Titans or fill in the rest from the wild card, they're coming to my house because I've got a better seating. So I honestly don't know how that resolves much, this choice of you get to choose this or that, because just playing it out, I would absolutely take the week off. I'm getting healthier. I would absolutely take the bye into the second round of the playoffs where I'm not playing anybody in the first weekend. And then what? If the team that's above me, Bengals-Bills, is above me, guess what? We're going to a neutral site anyway. So I'm not costing myself any home field advantage in any of the games that I have a home field advantage opportunity, because when I come out of my bye, I got my home game. I don't think there's any fix here that's going to be satisfactory to anybody. Unless they play this game, which is apparently highly unsatisfactory for the Bills and the Bengals. And then moving playoff weeks and giving buys and three weeks of a bye to the NFC because you're changing everything around. Well, word is, and we'll talk to Albert Breer in hour number 3, that the league wants to make this decision before toe meets ball between the Chiefs and the Raiders, which I think makes sense, because if the Chiefs win this, it can make a lot of points moot, technically.
Right.
Because the bottom line is, if you say Bills and Bengals do not play again, and the Patriots beat the Bills, and the Bengals beat the Ravens, then, the only thing that doesn't do is give the Bengals a 1 seed throughout the entire playoffs. And the Patriots are in, and the Chiefs got 14 wins, which if the Chiefs have 14 wins, the Bengals, even if they won out the rest of the way, couldn't have gotten there. Anyway, they couldn't have gotten the 1. See what I'm saying?
I do.
So the league might, just come up with this decision to say we're not replaying the game, and we'll figure out, winning percentage, and then the results hit. Bengals couldn't have gotten the 1 seed anyway. The Patriots get the 7 seed by beating the Bills, who couldn't get the 1 seed after they lost that game if the Chiefs won that game on Saturday anyway. We'll see how it all wraps up, but if they do the Hasselbeck, I'm sorry, Matt, I've got to say it.
The new dance craze.
I'm sorry, I got to say it. If they do the Hasselbeck, we're going to take the bye and we're going to score.
Man,
Wow.
really? Why'd you have to do Matt like that?
Hold on. Matt. Love you, brother. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.